We will forge a society that is colorblind and merit-based. It will henceforth be the official policy of the United States government that there are only two genders, male and female. I will reinstate any service members who were unjustly expelled from our military for objecting to the COVID vaccine mandate with full back pay. The future is ours, and our golden age has just begun.
The beginning of a golden age. And returning to common sense, President Donald Trump vowing to bring American values back to our nation's capital. Let's bring in now El Presidente, Dave Portnoy, to discuss the return to normalcy. He is Barstool Sports founder. And Dave, I think you're a practical man. That's how I think of you. I don't think of you as left or right. I don't even know if I think of you as that political. When I hear Donald Trump talking like that, that's my big takeaway. That's what this represents, a return to normalcy, practicality, common sense.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think that's why he won the election. I think that's what a lot of people want to hear. And I think more people probably think that way in this country that don't think that way. You have both extremes. But, you know, I don't think it should be wild to be proud to be American. I mean, when you really think about make America great again, that becomes such a controversial term. Shouldn't everybody want that? Shouldn't everybody want secure borders and less crime in cities and to be proud to be an American? So, again, I agree with your assessment of how I view politically, if at all. But everybody wants a better America, and it really shouldn't be a controversial thing. And I think what Donald Trump does, President Trump, that a lot of people love, including myself, you don't always have to love everything he's saying, but he's pretty frank, pretty upfront, pretty clear, and that's super refreshing. That's very refreshing for a guy like me when you had a former President, Biden, who you couldn't even find. So to at least have somebody stand up, say, this is what I think, this is what I believe in, you don't have to agree, that's super refreshing for somebody like myself, and I think a lot of America. So refreshing, Dave. You and I are both big sports fans. Last night was a national championship game between Ohio State and Notre Dame. So refreshing for me, Dave, that I really honestly had trouble changing the channel away from Donald Trump and that freewheeling Q&A he had while signing executive orders, even for the national championship game. Because to your point, it was a president not afraid of a single question and thinking it all out loud, not handled, not scripted, not on talking points, but right there, confidently thinking it all out loud. Yeah, I mean, that's what you want from a president. Again, you don't have to agree with them, but seeing somebody that you have confidence if they're going in a meeting or anything like that, and I'm with you, Will. I'm a huge football fan. I can't believe they scheduled this the same day as the inauguration. That was crazy, and it was such a long wait, and you got two teams that, I don't know, do people even care about? I fell asleep at the end of that game. I was more locked in on the inauguration. It's like the football game didn't even happen for me and most of the country.
Well, we should also point out, because this is a place of authenticity, we're going to evolve on this show, but we're always going to be real. It's because you're a Michigan guy and you're taking your shots at the national champion, and the audience needs to know that. You're go Big Blue. So that might have been part of why you weren't too excited about the game.
I don't know about that. I mean, I like keep Ohio State, keep the title in the Big Ten. We beat the crap out of them every time I play them. So I good for them. I don't care. I'm not hostile.
Oh, good. Oh, good. The Big Ten's doing the SEC thing, rooting for the entire conference. Hey, I want to ask you about this. You've been banging your drum about TikTok. This is a confusing issue, I think, for a lot of people. You know, should we ban it because it has Chinese spyware embedded, or is it a platform for free speech? You've been making a different argument about small businesses. This is some of what you've had to say.
This reminds me of COVID in a way, when the government's just like poof and cut the legs out of so many businesses. Like, you can't open your doors, you can't do business, we got to protect you. There are so many creators, small businesses, who have worked for years to build their livelihoods, their careers on TikTok. You finally become successful and the government's like, poop, sorry, cut your legs out, you're done.
You see this like COVID, Dave. I got to be honest, this one is incredibly complicated for me. I mean, there is no doubt that it is a spying tool for China. And Donald Trump was thinking it out loud, by the way, in that Q&A. I just don't know what the reasonable landing spot is for TikTok in America.
Yeah, I'll grant it that. The spying tool I get the disinformation, the spying tool on who they're spying on, like teenagers making little dances and what information they're gleaming for that. They have the phones, maybe smarter people than me. But to be honest, all these social media networks, you talked a little bit earlier, like Zuckerberg wasn't affecting how people thought, and I don't trust any of the social media networks. So this is just one, and it's successful, but you cannot underestimate how many people are earning a living. So I agree with you. I don't have Secret Service telling me everything they're worried about. I get the disinformation to a degree. The spying, I don't know. I'm just a common dude sitting here looking on TikTok and asking what are they talking about. But I'm very concerned about how many people earn a living. It's huge. You can't underestimate that. And just to cut it out, and you got people who are investing in Meta, writing the bills. It's all pretty confusing.
By the way, speaking of investing or betting, I don't know which one of your more recent bets is more speculative. So you made a bunch of money on Trump coin, which I don't get meme coins. I don't get them at all, but good for you, Dave. You made like $1 million on Trump coin. But I don't know if that was riskier than your bet on the Bills to win the Super Bowl. What do you have? You have $1 million riding on that as well, which, by the way, that means you're betting against not just the Kansas City Chiefs, you're betting against NFL referees. You and I both know that the guys in black and white stripes are also wearing red for the Kansas City Chiefs.
Yeah, they certainly seem it. So I made $1 million in that Trump coin, and it is all speculative, by the way. It's just gambling. I get that going in. I was willing to lose my money. I made it, so it's like free money. And, Buffalo, I love the people of Buffalo. I'm a Patriot fan. We have an interesting relationship, but maybe it's their time. They were lucky to escape Baltimore. They'll have a tough game with Kansas City, but it's $1 million to win $5.5 million, free money. I like rooting for Buffalo. It's a great American city. I love Josh Allen, so who knows?
I like that you feel that way about the people of Buffalo. That's how I feel about Texas A&M fans. I respect them. They're my rival, but I respect them and their craziness. And I feel the same way about Philadelphia Eagles fans and the people of Philadelphia. I'm a Cowboy fan, but I respect your insanity. I like that you can respect your rival, Dave. And I always respect you coming here, hanging out with me. Thank you so much.
Congrats on the new show.
Thanks, Dave. We'll see you around.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hot...
Hey, Eamon Javers has that for us. What do we learn now, Eamon?
Scott, the president.
Hey, Eamon Javers has that for us. What do we learn now, Eamon?
Scott, the president has been talking to reporters inside the Oval Office as he's been signing some executive orders over the past couple of minutes. We'll have that tape out here momentarily, but a couple of headlines to bring you as we talk about that. One is that the president talked about interest rates and the Federal Reserve. He has told the reporters that he would consider talking to Jay Powell about interest rates. He said to the reporters that he does expect the Fed to listen to him on interest rates. And this is, of course, the president who earlier today, speaking to that crowd in Davos, said that he will demand that interest rates come down. So that's one bucket of headlines around the Fed and his relationship with Jay Powell. Another one is going to be on an executive order here on cryptocurrency. We're waiting for a little bit more detail from the White House on exactly what this document that he signed is, but he's creating a working group on crypto, which will have David Sachs involved. David Sachs was in the Oval Office with the president moments ago, explaining the details of it to reporters who will explain it to us when they come out to the press briefing room. But it does look like there's a working group here and maybe some more details from the White House changing federal policy on crypto. So a couple of different buckets there to watch for, but particularly interesting in terms of his relationship with Jay Powell, Scott, and so much attention had been focused on whether or not he would try to remove Powell, whether that would even be legal. He has signaled that he wouldn't do that, but clearly today we're seeing an effort by the White House to rattle the cage a little bit over at the Fed. The president saying he expects the Fed to listen to him when he talks about interest rates.
Yeah, we'll follow that for certain. The crypto news interesting, but just to underscore, a working group, not a definitive national digital asset stockpile of yet, correct?
Yeah, we're going to wait for some details here, Scott, and I've got to go back in the building and get the actual document in writing to see exactly what's in there. But what we know right now is that Sachs was talking to reporters about this working group, but we'll get more detail here in terms of what's in the black and white, because a lot of this can be whispered down the lane from people who are in the room to us, to you, and we want to make sure we get it right.
Yeah, I got you. I'll let you go do reporting on that. Eamon, thanks so much for that update. That's Eamon Javers, as you see, on the north lawn of the White House. Up next, we track the biggest movers into the close. Back to Christina for that. What do you see?
Well, we're seeing a major gaming company seeing its stock crater due to disappointing sales, while a legacy airline struggles with mounting losses. Details next.